What's up, everybody? It's your favorite list maker's favorite nerd, and today is part 2 of 3 videos that are coming for best and worst figures of the year. These figures are Transformers that I bought that are in my personal collection. That's what sets this list aside. This is my own personal preference, so there's a lot more subjectivity in this list. It's a lot more about what I like. Now, when we get to Sunday's list, the last video of the year, that's where we'll take a look at everything. All the figures I've looked at, all the figures I've bought, transformable, non-transformable, etc., and come up with a cohesive list for best of the year. But this is just for the Transformer fans that kind of see the market as I see it and are interested in where I place the pieces that have come out this year along that list. So just 5 best, 5 worst. Sunday we'll do most disappointing, surprisingly good, worst, and best. Let's get started. Coming in at number 5, X-Transbots. It is X-Transbots, right? Toro. And look, it's not that it's a bad figure. A lot of these examples today aren't really bad. They just happen to be the more problematic 5 that I got this year. And he's the best of the 5 that we're going to talk about, but this backpack is just... it's just thrown together, and it kind of throws off the whole piece. And there's ways around it in terms of displaying it, and a lot of stuff works great about it, but it just is slightly disappointing, especially when you see how well their other Carbots that they're putting out with their Stunticons have cleaned up. So this one has to make the list, but I'm still happy with it, which is the case with a lot of this stuff. Number 4, and I would have never thought that Fans Toys would make this list, but it does. This figure is problematic. It is by design prone to issues. There's cleanup things that I don't normally expect. There's articulation limitations that I don't normally expect. My hinges here have not held up under minimal kind of manipulation. That's not plugging in right at the moment. My hip was gunked up with paint to a point where I had to go in there with a small knife and dig some of it out in order to get it to move. It's just not what I expect from this company, nor is it something I will accept from this company. The positive is it still displays like a champ, like all of their stuff tends to do. And it also was a teachable moment for me because I was always like, why do some people seem to hate this company? And I realized why this year. It's not because they hate the company. It's because they hate the fan. And I've been a supporter of Fans Toys since the very beginning. But when I really am disappointed with a piece, people lost their mind. And I think that's why Fans Toys gets the pushback sometimes, is because people find their fans to be obnoxious. And I was made to understand that. So this piece has a lot of meaning in my collection for a number of different reasons, but it's also one of my most disappointing purchases of the year. Number 3, the Takara Millennium Falcon that Robert D bought me as a gift because he likes to buy me things that I don't really want. Does this open up and it should sit like that? The Millennium Falcon mode is great, so I still enjoy displaying it, but the robots are trash. He knew I wouldn't like it, which is the only reason why he bought it for me, and here we are. There's not much else to say about it. My number 2 and my number 1, and I'll tell you why. I feel like I was sold magic beans with this set. The first 2 came out and set such a precedent, and this one is so far left of that center. Not only was the design inconsistent with the expectations they had set, I had poor design issues here where a piece broke. It's plagued by the same tolerance issues and all of the negatives that the other ones had, so it continued through with the negatives but offered 0 positives, only a few more negatives. Once again, they're not terrible and they have their purpose, and I actually like Vortex a lot better when you take these side pieces of kibble off. They're just C-clips. If you're interested, you can just pop them off. It doesn't fix it, but it makes it better. The Bruticus works well. It's just these guys that they're without a doubt my most regrettable Transformer purchase of the year, and unfortunately they make me regret buying the other 3. So it's kind of a triple, quadruple whammy. Those are my worst figures that I've picked up this year. And to be honest with you, they're not that bad. I just haven't bought that much bad stuff this year. I actually haven't bought that much Transformer stuff this year. But if I had to pinpoint 5 that were kind of like, meh, it would be these. I mean, the Millennium Falcon is trash, but it was given to me by Robert, and you know, in the alt mode looks great. So it does what I need it to do. All of them have something. This Cliff Jumper displays well if you pose him right. Rouge displays phenomenally. These 2 work well with Bruticus, and I recommend the Bruticus if you like the size. But aside from that, I mean, this is what I got. Now we're gonna start off our best with number 5, Fans Toys Quietus. Transformation aside, this embodies a lot of things that I love about this company. The finish on this thing is back to the glory days of paint on Transformers, and not a chip in sight. It's gorgeous, it's stunning, it's surprisingly clean. The proportions are phenomenal. That mature aesthetic within that embodiment of G1 is what I am chasing, and this checks all of those boxes on the way down to do so. It's not going to win any awards for engineering, but in terms of a beautiful action figure that is efficient, 100% you're looking at one. My number 4, MMC's Ocular Max Rumble and Frenzy. It's just exactly what I want from them in regard to these tapes. I think they've knocked them all out of the park. They are absolutely fantastic. The sculpt is beautiful. The paint is beautiful. The transformation is fun. The shelf presence kills the Takara ones. Like, it just is extremely concise and well done. I'm excited about their ram horn, and I'm hearing reports that a lot more tapes are coming, so please, please, please bring it on, because you guys definitely know what you're doing when it comes to these. They're exceptional. My number 3, Fans Toys Dracul, that have a right to be proud. Like I said in the review, this is a very back to basics approach. This reminds me of some of their Dinobot stuff. The engineering is simple, straightforward, fun, and intuitive, and interesting. The sculpt is dead to rights. The deco is dead to rights. Wingspans always make a figure look more impressive, so it's got that going for it. It's just, this is the pocket I want them to kind of ride out. This is when they do their best work, and this one is no exception, and that's why we're talking about it. My number 2 of the year, X-Transbots Crack Up, and its trademarked crack rock beige tone. This is just a figure that does everything pretty much well across the board. The only issue is the shoulder staying stuck in, and it's an easy fix, and I'd much rather than be too tight than too loose. The engineering is great, the materials are good, the hardware is good, the sculpt is good, the paint is good, the playability is good, the presence is what it should be. It's all done very well, and it's from a company that I wouldn't expect to create a piece on this caliber. It really took me back. It made me look at X-Transbots in an entirely different way, and I'm happy to see it, and I'm happy with this piece. Number 2. And I don't think it's any surprise to anyone that this is my number 1 for the year. It just pays off every way that I had hoped, anticipated, and wished. It's one of the most complimented pieces in my collection from other people. It's one of the pieces that wows people when they come in, and that's because the presence is insanely strong and the sculpt is insanely clean for what it is. Individually, none of these are great. In fact, the only one that I like individually is Onslaught, but collectively they are so far superior to any of them individually, and also to almost anything else that came out this year individually. I wish this company the best. I cannot wait for Superion, and bring it on. And there's my top 5, and they are a great set of purchases. All of them are pretty much the culmination of what makes each company great individually. All of them were incredibly rewarding on a number of levels, and some of them are vast improvements from what you have expected from them in the past. A tremendous collection of product. So there they are. And this is the more personal of these videos, because these are the ones that I purchased and was looking forward to, with the exception of the Millennium Falcon, obviously. And, you know, the good far outweigh the bad, in the sense where the good are so good and the bad, for the most part, are just more so disappointing than they are inherently bad. So while this wasn't a very plentiful year for me in terms of Transformer purchases, it was a very positive year in terms of what I actually got, pretty much across the board. So I hope it picks up steam a little bit next year, but I'm not sure that I see that. You know, we'll see. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Until next time, take care.